have a 75% roster changeover.
And all the guys have helped this team win in some way or another. You look at this game, Al, and this whole series, it's been about the big three, but it's really been about the other guys on the Timberwolves that have kept them alive in this series and have won games for them. Trent Hassel and Fred Hoiberg and Matson have been absolutely amazing in this series.
They have picked their spots, and those spots have been picked well enough to give this team a 3-2 advantage, and Bibby defending a little too aggressively and called for the foul. Weber has 2 fouls, and for Bibby, that's his first. Neither team has gone to the free throw line of the game. First minute, second quarter, Timberwolves up by a half dozen. Sprewell inside the line this time. On the top of the backboard. 3 is 4 for 4 from three-point land. Let's check in with Michelle.
Al, you showed the roster overhaul. Flip Saunders told me early in the season what surprised him most was how well everyone got along and how quickly they all got along. And Latrell Sprewell told me this is the closest team I've been on since my second year in the league. I really haven't experienced chemistry like this, Al.
Yeah, Flip Saunders is a guy, as Bibby launches a 3 and connects to make it 30-27. Saunders kind of an under-the-radar guy, but keep in mind, this guy has coached his team longer than any coach in the league apart from Jerry Sloan at Utah.
He's an excellent coach. He got a lot of flack, and unjustly, because the Timberwolves have never made it out of the first round until this year. But, Al, this is the first year they were the favorite. Every year that the Timberwolves have been in the playoffs, they've been the underdog. Every year except for last year, they have not had home court. They finally get home court. They have to play the Lakers last year, and so they lose. So Flip Saunders is an excellent coach, one of the more underrated coaches, in my opinion, in our game.
He had those 7 first-round exits, but then with McHale supplanting the roster, restructuring, coaching tenure in the NBA, of course, Jerry Sloan would be on top, 16 seasons. Then Saunders in his 9th. Greg Popovich losing last night, and Greg's team done for the year would be next in line.
All West Coast coaches.
Balance of power. Divac. Because when you say West Coast, you know, for Minnesota, it's Saunders on the western bank of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Not quite West Coast.
No,
Western
not even close.
Yeah. 3-point game, Minnesota 32-29. Cassell back in the game and scores as Matson went down hard.
As a brick.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
I thought a house had fallen on the floor.
Splattered. Bibby trying to work off the pick. Wheeler gets it back to a wide-open Brad Miller.
Great patience. You know, Rick Adelman this morning, we were talking to him, he said, uncharacteristically of our team, we are not a patient basketball team right now. We're settling for bad shots. We have to use the clock and be patient. If we do that, we'll get every shot we want. Another turnover by the Timberwolves.
Presley created it. Bibby then feeds Miller, but he handcuffed him.
Well, Johnny Bench couldn't have caught that one. I mean, that was a fastball.
Hoiberg. Fred Hoiberg out of Iowa State.
Fred Hoiberg's a killer right now.
He has been.
If you leave him open, he's going to make the shot. I think where they're most surprised with Fred Hoiberg is his defense. You think about it, the Bulls release Fred Hoiberg and Trenton Hassel, and both of these guys have come through in the playoffs for the Timberwolves.
And they're each just one game away from the Western Conference Final. 37 Wolves.
The offense was not accounted for, and he's done a terrific job in his own right. Trenton Hassel has to be credited, though, for his defense. I think he is surely responsible for slowing down Page's 3 activities.
Wally Zerbiak comes in, and so does Gary Trent for the Timberwolves. Minnesota is 7 of 8 from three-point range. Bibby outside the Peeler, the ex-Minnesota Timberwolves. Peeler, who was kind of converted into a defensive guy last year at Minnesota. Then he gets traded, wound up in a stop sleeping overnight in Milwaukee on his way to Sacramento, and he's the sixth guy off the bench in the absence of Bobby Jackson.
Yeah, I think he's more comfortable in that offensive position. I tell you, one big key right now for the Kings, and if you're Rick Adelman, you really like it, is that Doug Christie is being offensively aggressive. You know, sometimes he just settles into being that defensive player. They really need his offensive energy, and thus far in this game, he's doing it.
The last foul was on Zerbiak, and off the glass for Bibby, who just shakes his head and said, well, you know, sometimes it goes in. That ties the game. Ties the game and gets the crowd right back into the game. Garnett, long two. And Bibby came up with the ball and got fouled.
A great play by Mike Bibby. You know what he did, Al? He fell out of bounds on purpose, forcing the ref to make the call. You know, Mike Bibby, they need his scoring, and he's doing that. They also need him to get involved. Little things like this. Watch this. See, Mike Bibby forced that call. I don't know if it was really a foul, but it almost made the official, he had to call something. And you usually call a bump because there was a little bump there. Smart play by Bibby.
And that foul, his second. Divac directing traffic, then hands off to Bibby. Got it.
Mike Bibby. The number one thing the Timberwolves said they had to do, Al, was what? Slow Bibby down.
Bibby now has 14 points. He's the only King in double figures. Sprewell leading Minnesota. He has 12 all on three-point shots, but he's pressured outside by Miller. Shot clock at 4. Cassell has to launch it. Not even close, but underneath Trent is there. He misses, and a 24-second violation. They didn't get it off in time.
It's so loud in here, I don't think the officials heard it at first or could see the clock.
Well, one reason this place is so loud is it's small. I mean, if you're inside a place like Staples Center or in Houston at the Toyota Center, there's about twice as much, cubic feet inside? So the sound just reverberates, bouncing off the walls like crazy. And so are the Kings right now. As an 8-0 run, he's had an assist on this run, a three-point shot, then a rebound, which led to 2 more. So Garnett summed it up pretty well. Yeah,
he did, and he's right. I mean, he's the only guy, Bibby, and Chrissy you can make a case for also, that they create his own shot. So they need Bibby to be aggressive.
Divac had it swiped away from behind, and then Sprewell, no basket. Traveling.
He didn't get his feet set. He had trouble trying to time his jump, and so he had to take that extra step, or extra 4 steps, you might say. See, there is traveling in the NBA.
Yeah, they call that about once every 12 times. Here's Bibby. Divac the rebound. And Johnson came down on him for the foul. And we'll have our first free throw attempt of the game, coming almost halfway through the second period.
It's not shocking at all.
First promo of the game coming up, too. Here we go. Which team was the all-time champion? Log on to NBA.com. Cast your vote. In the quarterfinal matchups of the all-time NBA Finals Challenge on NBA.com. Divac missing that one. Cassell. Up ahead to Hoiberg. Cassell gets a pick from Johnson, but Divac came out very nicely, and then Trent inside gets doubled. Shot clock at 3, and it's stolen away by Bibby, and out in front is Christie, all alone.
Another turnover. You know, you think about the keys to this game for the Timberwolves. Number 1 was no turnovers. Keep the crowd out of it. Number 2 was slowing Mike Bibby down. Neither one has been done thus far.
And Sacramento will come back with this one. Foul is on Cassell, offensive.
Doug Christie, the defensive player for the Kings, getting involved. You know, again, his energy is infectious, and right now, he's getting his team pumped. You talk about energy, guys. When Doug Christie's energy is high, the Kings are a different basketball team.
That is Cassell's third foul, so bad back and 3 fouls now for one of Minnesota's big three as Sam takes a seat. Stojakovic, guarded by Sprewell. Weber. Christie comes around. And Peeler is there for the rebound. But it's a loose ball foul on the Timberwolves. On Mark Madsen.
And Flip Saunders is upset because he's really upset. He's saying that Peeler pushed off to get the initial rebound, and then his pushing off is what led him to fall into Mark Madsen, and that's why Flip Saunders is so upset.
A lot of things going wrong right there. They're over the limit in fouls. They give up the 2 which Stojakovic makes.
See, here's a rebound. You can see Flip Saunders already talking about the push-off. I actually didn't think it was a push-off. I thought it was a long rebound. They got tangled up. And then you had to call the foul because Mark Madsen ran into the ball handler.
And Dan Crawford gives him the T. Let's check in with Michelle.
Yeah, Alan, you could almost see it coming because Flip Saunders has been jawing with Dan Crawford almost all game long. And Crawford has issued him a couple of, hey, Flip, step back, step back. That time he didn't step back, Al.
And so after Stojakovic makes the technical, Peeler goes to the line, makes 1 of 2. It's a 6-point game. Sacramento up 43-37, trying to force a Game 7 in Minneapolis on Wednesday night. Stolen by Peeler. Sacramento doing a very good job here in the second quarter defensively, and on the other end, Weber misses here, but Stojakovic is there to put it back in.
Everything now is off the turnover. Everything for the Kings is off the turnover.
Minnesota has turned the ball over 12 times. And Miller has his hand right in Garnett's face.
You know, you can do that as long as you don't touch him.
He did. He touched him. He gave him a facial.
He goosed him. He goosed his head. I didn't know you could do that. This is called the goose defense right here.
That's classic.
Wow. Even Brad Miller thinks that's fun. That's what I'm employing next year, Al, the goose defense.
I like that. Stojakovic comes away with it.
You know, right now the Kings are quicker to all the loose balls, which is unusual against the Timberwolves, who are a more athletic basketball team. That's what desperation does.
Meanwhile, Sam Cassell aching back and 3 fouls on the bench. And that compels them to use Derek Martin, who got thrown out of the game the other night, but that was a pretty good trade because he took Brad Miller with him.
I would take that trade all night. You know, it's funny when you get to the game 5 and 6. I've always thought 6 was the turning point. The two teams, I don't care how much respect they have for each other or like each other, they hate each other by game 6. You saw it last night, San Antonio and LA, two teams that you rarely see getting into, you know, scrambles. Did it all night last night. It's happening here.
Familiarity will always breed contempt, especially in the playoffs. Sprewell makes it. 45-39. 4 minutes to play. Opening half in Sacramento. Game 6. Miller alone.
That's the shot they're giving him. They're taking away back cuts, so the big man on the weak side for the Timberwolves is helping. It's going to let Brad Miller shoot that all night.
Devon's the guy on the bench.
Another turnover.
Christie. Garnett chases him and forces him to miss the shot, but there was contact.
I don't know if there was contact that called it, or that Doug Christie saw or felt Kevin Garnett behind him.
A supposed contact for the foul.
Great steal here. Yeah, I don't know if it was contact or more Doug Christie could feel Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett, the MVP as Crispy can't knock down the first one.
Kings are missing free throws, and that's something they don't do.
No.
2 for 6.
Good free throw shooting team, good three-point shooting team normally. What is it with free throw shooting in the playoffs? It's like it's epidemic with everybody.
It's called pressure.
Yeah.
You know, it's called pressure.
Sprewell, his fifth three, no. Matson with a rebound.
Then gets out of control, flips on this, flips Mark Matson back in. He needs more energy.
Garnett from the baseline drops it home. 48-41 Sacramento.
I think that's where the Timberwolves are going to have to go a little while right now, is getting the ball down to Garnett. He has to make something happen.
Get the steal. Hassel now. Sprewell works it inside to Garnett, who gets doubled.
See, but that leads to open shots. I think you have to go to Garnett first.
Hassel missed. Out of bounds it goes. Sacramento will inbound. 2:45 remaining in the opening half. Sacramento on top 48-41. Down in the second round was Jones. Sacramento leading 48-41. Each team in this game has had a 9-point lead. And the big runs today. Kings early, then the Wolves, and the Kings then again. Weber.
From Bibby. That entire play was set up by Mike Bibby. They're giving him so much attention now. He's able to still create, and he's getting everybody else involved.
So another 9-point lead. You had a 9-point Sacto lead, then an 18-point swing. Now it comes 18 points back the other way. 50-41 Sacramento.
You know, they're still giving Trenton Hassel those shots. The difference this afternoon is they're contested. Guys are recovering back.
And Hassel is 0 for 4. Weber missing here. Hassel with the ball. And 40 to go. Game 6. Saved by Garnett on the low bounce pass. Getting it back. And then fouled on his way to the hoop by Stojakovic.
Now, we talked about Mike Bibby. I want you to watch all the guys watching Mike Bibby. Look at these guys here. Even this guy is looking. Everybody's watching Mike Bibby, concerned about him allowing others to shoot. And if Weber and Brad Miller and Divac can make those shots, the Kings are going to be good this afternoon.
Like a magnet. Minute and a half to go. Wally Zerbiak is in the game. Hassel comes out. Weber gets the rebound. Out in front to Crispy. Oh, wow.
Great outlet by Weber. Great outlet.
Biggest lead of the game. 52-41. Sacramento ticking down to a minute. Kings hitting 61%. The Wolves at 45. Garnett, a little fall away is good.
See, every time the Kings make a run, I think the Timberwolves should go right back down to Garnett, because I don't think there's anybody on the Kings team that can stop him from getting his shot off.
I think you're right. I think he's going to wind up being the key to Minnesota's success, or a lack thereof today, as Miller puts it home.
Bibby again, though, Al. Bibby is causing havoc right now. He's breaking down the Timberwolves defense, and he's getting everyone involved.
Bibby has 14 points and 5 assists. Sprewell. Stojakovic now, about a 4-second differential, gaining shot. Bibby's going to launch it anyway.
Yeah, I don't think that was a great shot, but that's how they played. So you have to allow them to do that. They could have gone in the half with the final shot, but that's not the way the Kings play. If it's an open shot, they take it, so you have to live with it every once in a while.
That Leopard not changing its spots here, and Miller for the reaching foul.
That is a dumb foul. It really is. You know, the way he committed it, Al, the first thing I looked up to find out was they must have a foul to give. You know, that's the type of foul you don't want. You want to make them make shots. You don't want to give them points.
This is the Timberwolves' first trip to the free throw line today because of 7 seconds left in the half. Garnett misses the first. Tonight on TNT, Detroit and Jersey. What a series that has turned out to be. Can the Nets advance in that 16th? Tuesday night, Game 6, Pacers, Heat, Miami trying to stay alive at home on TNT at 7:30. 10-point game now as Sacramento figures to have the final shot of the first half. Bibby going to take it all the way in and has it blocked out of bounds by Garnett.
And that's great recovery. Garnett was beat at the three-point line and was able to get back under the basket to block that shot.
2.6. God, did Fisher really make that shot the other night, by the way? No. Unbelievable. Stoyakovich.
You mean like that?
Yeah, sort of like that.
Wow. Good call, Al. You saw it coming.
2.6, that is an eternity. Stoyakovich way behind the line. And the Sacramento Kings, who had a 9-point lead, blew it. We're down by 9, end up by 13.
Wow. There's been more end of the second, in the quarters, in the game shots so far in this playoffs. It's been amazing.
Page drops a bomb. Speaking of Stoyakovich, here he is with Michelle.
Actually,